Good morning, it's Mike Palmer from Mike Palmer Homes. We appreciate you coming to our site. This morning I kind of wanted to highlight a job we're working on. We just cleared a lot and we've got a footing dug. And to me, this is where all the hard work is done. The house is about to go up. But at this point, basically you watch it go up. It's all defined. But most of the thinking work is already done. Now every building lot tells you a story. And I feel like it's really important to get your head around a building lot before you pick a house plan. And I'll kind of show you the reasons why. This is a very long, narrow lot. I don't know if you can see through the woods, but it's got a real pretty view of Lake Norman. Okay? But there's not too many lots left on Lake Norman that are nice and flat and easy to build on. Now this is a long, narrow lot. And we put the driveway in. Originally we thought of putting it a little further down to the right. We can still do that. However, we ran into some soft dirt down there, and that's kind of where all the water drains. So you really don't want your driveway down there in a ditch. We had to keep a natural area. The HOA requires that. And down by the lake, there's a buffer. We've gone as far as we can go. We can't clear or touch any trees down there. Now, the homeowner can probably clear some of that out later after they move in, but we cannot do that as builders. So that limited our space that we have to build. Now, see over there, I don't know if you can see it, but there's kind of almost like a drainage area. There's a low point, like a ravine, right on the property line there. And same thing over here. This is on this other side is where all the water drains. So you can't do a front entry garage in this neighborhood. You have to have a side or a courtyard entry. And if you do a side entry garage, you're squeezed for space over there. This lot really isn't wide enough to get, considering you got almost like a ditch on each side. Who wants a narrow driveway down in a ditch? You know, it makes it very cumbersome and uncomfortable to live in. So in planning this out with the clients, we decided to do what we call a courtyard entry, where, I don't know if you can see it here, but this right where I'm standing now will be the driveway, and this will be an entrance on the side, but you come into the front of the house and turn that way. And that's going to be a much more comfortable driveway to use. Now, you see, this is the high side of the lot. Now, we've cut some of this out and tapered that in to keep the natural area, but still flatten it out so you have some over the front yard and you don't have drainage issues. Your garage is going to be here, and that courtyard entry will also help shield you so you're not going to be seeing all these houses next door and kind of help it feel more private. And on this side, we've got woods. So we really felt that was the optimal way to use the lot. Now, the driveway here comes in on the low side. When you have a driveway, that can act like a dam for water coming down. And as you can see here, this whole neighborhood kind of drains down right through here. So what we did is, that's going to be refined at our final landscaping, but this is where the water is going to come down. We put a pipe underneath the driveway. And if we did not do that at this stage, our construction entrance here would turn to a mud pit, and all the water would be washing it out. On the sides and on the rear, we put an erosion fence with a wire backing because there's going to be a big volume of water, and something's going to have to prevent that silt from going down into the lake. Okay, what we have going on here, this is called a footing. Now, we have not poured concrete in a footing, but a footing is basically a trench in the ground that we pour concrete in, and that's what the house sits on. Now, if you look the side of a footing, what you need to do is dig down till you have the appropriate load-bearing soil. Basically hard virgin dirt that hasn't been disturbed. Now if you see the layers here, you've kind of got air pockets and a few little roots, spider roots in there, but where you see that smooth line, where there's no voids, that's how the footing diggers know. They do hit it with a probe, and the inspector hits it with a probe to make sure you have load-bearing capacity soil, but when you see that smooth mud right there, that's basically, that tells you where you need to be. And then we fill that with probably a foot of concrete. Some of this concrete gets deeper, just because we had to dig down past root holes. But if you don't pour the concrete deeper, you're going to have to build up with block. And I'd rather have the concrete myself. It makes for more stable footing, and the costs offset each other somewhat. Now this great big square is where our front steps are going to be. So we need a large concrete pad there. When I see concrete that big, I start to get a little fussy thinking about the concrete bill. Concrete has gone up, has gotten somewhat expensive here, but you know, there's not much you can do. It's like gas. You're going to buy it. Right here, you see that void there? That's just where you had a big taproot, big root hole. So we really don't have much choice. Dig down there and fill that full of concrete. Once again, right here, you can see that smooth line with the tooth of the backhoe. That's how they know that they're hard soil. Now, This lot was one of the more choice flat lots on Lake Norman. However, it still has a significant drop to it. I was looking at one yesterday. I call it double black diamond because it's like a ski slope. It's almost unbuildable. But this is a very, very flat lot as they come. Now, the super flat easy lots, there's not many left because Lake Norman has seen a tremendous amount of development in the last 20 years. Anyway, all these steps are 8 inches, and that makes it easier on the masons because brick and block, basically, when you put them out, they come typically in 8-inch increments. So we've got a very skilled footing contractor that makes it nice and smooth and easy for the masons, so they don't have to do what's called hogging, and it makes there a lot less labor for them. Anyway, but if you can see, top of the footing we have a step, and we have another step, and then we have another step. That's what these are called bulkheads, and the concrete gets poured up against them and then steps down. Another step, and then we have 4 more steps down there. So get to our lowest corner, we have a total of 9 steps. So 9 times 8 is 72. So from the highest corner to the lowest corner, we're going to have 72 inches. So your foundation is going to be probably 6 foot higher above where I am now. Now we do have 2 steps up into the back porch. So it'll be a little bit less, it won't be as high, but we're still talking about a back porch that's about 5 foot high. We'd rather not have it that high, so we can taper, we can bring some more dirt and some fill in and taper that some, but still, you've got, from the front of your lot to the lake, you're gonna have a drop, so somewhere that has to be accounted for. Now we have, you can see here, we've kind of robbed Peter to pay Paul. We've raised this up as high as we can, so you have a nice flat area with your driveway. But these are the thought processes we have to go through. Also, there's going to be a lot of water coming down here, so we put a gravel filter there. So when the water runs out, at the low point, you have the gravel to help filter all the silt out, so it's not all that stress on your erosion fence. Anyway, this is where the riddle is, and this is all the things that have to be thought out when you're walking a lot and when you're grading it. Fortunately, the man who does this for us does an excellent job. I think he really you have to, for lack of better words, rob Peter to pay Paul. So you're going to have to taper it and split the difference. And I don't think it can be really done much more skillfully than this. This is what the lot gives us. So the words I use a lot are taking what the lot gives you. But every lot kind of tells you a story and dictates what to do. So we take that into account when we design the house as well, because we want to maximize it and get the most out of the lot without it being uncomfortable, and we don't want to do any more fighting of the topography than necessary, because if you spend all that money fighting the topography, it doesn't necessarily translate to any more enjoyment for you. Anyhow, those are the concepts that go through our heads right now. This is just step-by-step building the house. We've got the plan decided. We've got all the colors picked out with the designers. So now it's just a matter of watching go up and fun beginning. I know it just looks like a trench in the ground, but this is really, we've got months and months and months of thought and planning into this. Anyway, hopefully this was informative for you and you found some value in it. And as I say all the time, if that's the case, feel free to hit the like button or share this video. Thank you again for watching, and if you have any questions, contact us at the numbers below.